10 things you have to have before you go to your first cow stand. The first one on the list is land. You know, the more land is better, but if you're just now starting out on your first cow stand or you're just now getting into cow hunting, you know, 5 acres, yeah, you can hunt cows on 5 acres. That's awesome. If that's all you got, go for it, you know. But over time, you gotta get more land. You gotta get more access to land. You know, 5 acres, you're not gonna do that much hunting on 5 acres on coyotes. You can call, and yeah, you'll get one or two coyotes coming in. The more land you get is better because you're not burning out that same 5 acres. You don't want to call on 5 acres every weekend, is what I'm trying to say. If you do, you'll burn out that spot where coyotes knows you're out there. They're not going to constantly keep coming into that same call. So, you know, if you have more land, try your best to get more access to that land. You know, you can go public land. You know, you can go ask your family if they're farmers or ranchers. They love to get rid of the coyotes. If you're running cows and stuff, coyotes, they do damage to livestock, and they also do damage to crops. Third way to get land access is, you know, if you have some friends or know some people that has hunting land, ask them and say, hey, can I hunt your land? You know, yes, they're not always going to say yes. There's sometimes they're going to say no. You can just be respectful, you know, say thank you for your time, you know, for me asking you, move on. The worst thing they're going to say is no. And, you know, sometimes they're willing to work out a deal. You know, a deal is like, hey, if you need help on your farm or ranch, I'm willing to work one day out of the week to help you. You know, that's what I do sometimes is, hey, if you need help, I'll come out and help you. You know, try to make time and effort to get the access to that land. They're always something like I said, to help some of these guys out. Some of these guys are old men, you know. They're always willing to help someone out. If you're willing to help them out, they're willing to help you out too as well. Second on the list here is guns. Here's my 204 build, and here's my AR-15. You know, these are great calibers for coyotes. 204 is a fast round. 223 is a good round for coyotes too. There's so many on the rifles on the market right now for coyote hunting. You know, you got 22 ARC, the 6mm Creedmoor, 6.5 Creedmoor, the 6.5 Grendel. I don't know if I said it yet, but the 6.5 ARC. There's so many guns. 22 Nosler, you know, 220 Swift, 22 250, 243. They're all good guns on the market. At the end of the day, you gotta ask yourself, what's in my budget? What's in my budget to go? You know, you can get a 22 250 for anywhere from 600 to 800. This 204 build was 1,300 is what I paid for it. My AR build here, without all this stuff I added on, that's a $800 gun. You know, you can go cheap and you can go high. The sky's the limit with these guns here. All right, next on the list is number 3, scopes. Scopes and optics. You know, right here is my Vortex scope here I put on my 204. Here is my thermal. I run AGM. So just like I said earlier on number 2 on guns, 3 is the same way. Scopes, how far are you going to shoot is my biggest deal. How clear you want to see. Are you doing a daytime hunt? Are you doing a nighttime hunt? Sky's the limit here. Once again, you know, I run a thermal at night. I run my daytime clear scope for during the day. You know, personally, I shoot cows at 100 to 150 yards 98% of the time. Very rarely I'll shoot them at 200 yards. But these scopes here I run, they'll get the job done, and I like them. At the end of the day, it's whatever you want to spend and what you feel comfortable using. A little windstorm outside. 4, a lot of people, you don't necessarily have to have this, but Number 4 on my list is a suppressor. I live in the state of Texas where you can hunt anything with a suppressor. I run a 30 Omega right here, and what I like about a 30 Omega is you can take it apart. Let me slide this over. You just pull that little cover off. You just, let me see, yep. You just pull that off. I'll put that there. Slide it off, twist it off, and here it is. Now, I'm going to tell you this, why this has made my top 10 list here. I've been to a lot of coyote hunting. I've been hunting coyotes for the past 2 years. Suppressors make a world of change. When I first started, I didn't have a suppressor. These things, I paid $1,300 for it. And these things are not cheap. Let me put this on real quick. Put it back on. Like I said, they just screw on, man. Put that back on. Like I said, they're not cheap. But like I said before, I hunted cows for the past 2 years. My first year, I didn't have a suppressor. And you'll have a group when you're calling, they're coming in, there's 2 or 3 of them. You shoot one, and the other 2 run off, right? You can play a pup distress, and they'll come back in. Sometimes it's a 50-50 shot, right? So with a suppressor, it's pretty quiet. Like the other night, I shot 2 the other night. I shot one. With it being suppressed, another one kept coming in. He's not getting scared. He didn't even hear the shot go off. So I shot 2 coyotes that night. They just make the world a lot easier to hunt coyotes at. Just using being quieter. And like I said, my AR and my 204 build here, they're both, I both put a different muzzle brake, and I put the twist on attachments for my suppressor here. 5 is ammo. You want to get ammo, yes, ammo is pretty high nowadays. I run Hornady through all my guns here. I forgot what I used. I think I used 52 grain here on my 223 and a 32 grain on my 204 here. But Hornady makes a good round. I like what they do. A lot of people is going, argue about what's the best ammo out there. In my opinion, Hornady is the best round for coyotes. They make a VMAX. I use a VMAX in this one, I think, and a Super Performance in my 204 by Hornady. Great rounds. They make a lot of ammo, and you can find ammo for Hornady ammo everywhere, They're just all around my favorite ammo. It's my opinion, so that's what's up. All right, number 6, I'm going to say camo. You have to have camo. And I'm going to say this, though. You need camo for a daytime hunt. If you go on a nighttime hunt, I would say black. But I've been there where I wasn't even planning on hunting coyotes. I was actually doing a pig hunt with some friends. And I wasn't even fit. I was just, just like what I'm wearing now. And I made a couple coyote stands. I went back to the truck to get some more, like a jacket or something. And I was like, I brought my hand calls. I was like, I'm going to make a couple coyote stand here. And sure enough, they came in. Just wear something like dark if you're going to do a nighttime hunt. And now a daytime hunt, that's a whole nother ball game. But yeah, another ball game, another story for another time, maybe another video. Stay tuned for that though. But daytime hunt, I will say camo is your best friend. Now, I'm not saying go out there to Academy or Cabela's and get Cryptic camo or Sitka camo. Yeah, that stuff's nice, but you're looking at a lot of money for those type of camo. Me, I just go to the local Walmart and just get like Realtree and Mossy Oak camo. Now, don't get me wrong, you will see me in some high-end camo from time to time. I usually just buy them on sale. After the end of the hunting season, you can still hunt coyotes at the end of the hunting season. And guess what? After deer season, turkey season, all your camo products is on sale. Clearance, buy them when they're on clearance. I have a whole closet full of just Magellan and all kinds of hunting clothes, from pants to socks to shirts. I bought on clearance. So use your, whatever floats your boat. You can go high-end camo or low-end camo. At the end of the day, as long as you're killing coyotes, whatever works for you. And 7, I'll say bipod and tripod is what you really need. Me, when I hold a rifle, I start shaking. With these tripods, both of these, I run bog tripods. It's kind of your beginner-friendly tripods. This one has a level sight. It holds everything in place. This one does it too, but this one has a level sight in there where you can make your gun level. And this one you can stand up on, where you stand behind it. This one's more of a crouch tripod, but I've ran bipods and I ride tripods. My favorite thing to do is when I hunt coyotes is run tripods. You know, especially when I'm running a different type of calls. You know, if I'm running a lucky duck call and I got the remote, I can just have my gun still, and I'll be looking at my deal, my electric collar here, and I could just be focused on that remote, just trying to look for a call, play a call, and I'm checking my surroundings. I'm not holding that gun. The bipods, I like the bipods. But the downfall about a bipod is, a lot of times you're laying down. You know, I know there's a lot of bipods on the market right now, and I never had one where I could stand up. And I'm pretty short, but I always run a tripod. Bipods, I'm always laying down, or it can't work in my stand. Now, another thing we can look at is shooting sticks. You know, I do have some. I could have found them, but I do have shooting sticks. A shooting stick's awesome. I've hunted coyotes a lot with shooting sticks. You know, it's more of your lightweight deal. You just unfold it. It's like a V, like that. You put your gun right there. It's more of a crouch or sitting down type coyote stand. But shooting sticks will work great too. But I prefer tripods. They hold my gun tight, and I can do this. I can move it, or this one I can move. This one I got to readjust, but yes, you can move everything. But it's great. I like it. All right. Now this is another deal here. This might be a good topic. Number 8 is going to be calls. There's so many different calls on the market right now. Right here's my lucky duck. I love it. Shot a lot of coyotes with this lucky duck. You know, over there, company Lucky Duck, I will leave a link down in the description for Lucky Duck. Great calls. But there's so many electric collars on the market. You know, you got Fox Pro, you got Lucky Duck, you got what's called Ecotech, or something like that. There's so many electric collars on the market. And this one is the I think it's the Gen 1. This is the Revolt. It has a little tripod. You can spin it around. If you hear a coyote on this side, you can spin this call around on the tripod and point it to that direction of that coyote. And this one, you know, everything's all, you can take it apart, put it back together, all folds back in here. But yeah, electric calls are a great deal. This one on the market is about $600 is what I paid for it. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's your decision if you want to go spin to a higher end call or a mid-range call. I've used Fox Pro. I love Fox Pro, but to me, I like the Lucky Duck better. To me, the speakers on the Lucky Duck is more high quality than the Fox Pro, but I'm not going to talk down on the Fox Pro because I've ran the Shockwave of the Fox Pro and I love that. And, you know, you got hand calls, you know, you got a howler call, you got a fawn distress call. There's so many different calls you can run. I got a lanyard here of just calls, of coyote calls here. You know, you got a rodent distress call, you got rabbit distress call. There's sky's the limit. At the end of the day, sky's the limit. You just got to know how much you want to spend, what type of calls you want to run. But with you know, here, the best calls around here is, you know, jackrabbit distress, cottontail distress calls, A woodpecker Lucky Duck does have a woodpecker distress call. I do like that feature. You know, the howler call. You got pup distress calls. You know, so many deals on here with this howler call. You can do pup distress call. You can do a howler call, lone call, howl, lone howl. You know, so many calls is on the market. You know, the thing about electric call is you got a remote, and you can go down to your category. You want to do coyote vocals. You can do rabbit distress, cottontail distress. Is all in your remote here that you can talk about. You know, that you're not looking for a call in your lanyard where you can constantly be blowing, you know. But the thing about mouth calls, you can blow this call and you can just adjust it. When the electric call, when you play it on your deal, the only thing you can adjust is the on and off switch and the volume switch, you know. Just like, you know, I'm going to give a little example here. I'm going to give a little rabbit distress call. And, you know, with that being said, you can make it, you got to make a scene with the calls, you know. You know, you're trying to make a scene where a cow's going to be like, hey, what's dying? I want to go up there and look at it, right? You know, you get your howler call. You know, you got so many different calls on the market. But one of my favorite to go to is electric call. Everything's in your palm of your hand. Play it. You're not looking for calls, right? All right, number 9. What is number 9? I would say you need a rangefinder for a daytime hunt, and a good set of binoculars. You know, you're kind of limited to on the nighttime. You're not, you know, unless you have night vision binoculars. That's awesome. But during the, you know, daytime, my biggest problem is finding the range. You know, or you know, you don't know what's out there. I know you're using a good scope or whatever, but you know, a second set of eyes like binoculars or rangefinder always helps out. You know, if that coyote's at 300 yards, you don't want to shoot and miss, right? Yeah, because you do that, that coyote's probably not coming back for a good minute. So yeah, you can just use this rangefinder and say, oh, that coyote's at 200 yards and he's not coming into the call. He's just standing still, you know. So, you know, if your gun's sighted at 200 yards, you can go over there and like, well, 200 yards, my gun's sighted at 150 yards, you know, do a little bit of math and got him, right? Yeah, rangefinder is always in my bag when I go coyote hunt. I guess that binoculars is good too. I recommend both of them. Actually, couldn't find my binoculars. Number 10 is a good spotlight for nighttime hunting. And here's why. You know, I hunt coyotes year round, and I'm from the great state of Texas, you know. And the bad thing about Texas is we have rattlesnakes everywhere. And you don't want to go over there and be walking around in the brush looking for a dead coyote, and you don't want to step on a rattlesnake, right? So you're like, it helps you out, you know. You shine your light through the woods and stuff. You don't want to step on a rattlesnake. That's what I'm trying to say. And you know, when you're hunting at night, your lack of vision pretty much sucks, right? So you don't want to, when you're looking for your coyote, you shot. Because most ranchers and stuff, they say you can hunt at my place, and they say shoot a coyote. They usually, you know, I'm going to treat them with the same respect as like they're letting me hunt, right, on their land. So I'm going to go pick up the coyote, and I'm going to throw it out somewhere, you know, throw in the woods or whatever. So, yeah, so when you're looking for your coyote, I'll say a good flashlight is a must. Good spotlight. You need that. So, all I can say is, guys, that's it. Hopefully y'all like this little top 10 deal. I probably am going to make some like reviews and stuff like that going on in the future. So, but I got a lot more hunting videos and a lot more outdoor videos coming to this channel. If y'all have any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below and let me know what's your favorite product to use during when you're hunting coyotes, or if y'all want to hear some more of my hunting stories, or anything y'all want. Let's have a conversation. Leave a comment down below. Hit that like button. Like this video. Share some love. Anyhow, I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy. Go kill some coyotes.